and it's called Codependent Love Songs. He is funny. He did the I Can't Stop Loving You. He said, what does that say about me? You know? He is excellent speaker, entertainer. He's going to be also doing a workshop. So I'd like for you all to put it in your calendar to come here next Sunday. It's going to be fantastic. Speaking of fantastic, we are so excited about our next speaker. She is one of the newest people here on the block. She came in like a whirlwind from Texas. Woohoo! And I think that's where they've got them, but they're, usually bringing in dirt and dust. Well, this was a whirlwind that brought in love and excitement and energy and glory. And one of the things about this wonderful lady is that she walks her talk. She loves people, regardless of who you are. She's going to love you whether you like it or not. And I'd like to introduce the Reverend Gloria.
Good glorious morning.
Good glorious morning.
I'm getting out of your way.
You're good.
But I get home first.
Yes, indeed.
Okay. Thank you.
I've wondered sometimes how things are going to come together, because I'm supposed to come up here and talk to you about spiritual healing and intuition.
There you go.
And my subject I was like, am I going to do this on intuition? Because, it's not coming together. I got boxes of things, I got things to do, and I got all this kind of stuff going on. And the world was like kind of going like this, and I was like, what is this about? So the title today is going to be Intuition and Spiritual Healing, or maybe it's time to clean the kitchen. I needed props. So.
Clean the kitchen, Gloria.
Clean the kitchen. Now,
That apron is from.
You in trouble. Mama told you to clean that kitchen. Okay. But first, I'm going to be a little bit reverential. There's something I grew up with that's very important, and I grew up with it happening in the kitchen. So if you would be so kind as to bow your heads with me in an attitude of prayer. This is going to be a little bit different prayer, but it's a prayer in every sense of the word. And I'm going to try to do it. I'm a little bit emotional. It brings up some good stuff. Sound early in the mornings, accompanied by the jingle or the clang of a skillet hitting the stove, or the spoons hitting the bowls as my grandmother went to the kitchen. I might have still been laying in the bed, and there wasn't a word or anything else going on in the house, but she would be humming that tune first thing in the morning. Now, the words of that song say, "Walk with me, Lord, walk with me." And I became to know that in my young adulthood as my prayer. I wake up every morning, there's a song that wakes me up in my heart. Sometimes it's rise and shine and give God the glory. Sometimes it's walk with me, Lord. But whatever it is, Spirit wakes me up with that in the morning, and that's a prayer that comes from way down inside. And I want to talk about your insides because I'm going to talk about your intuition and spiritual healing. Now, some of you know that I came out here to study Ayurveda, and I am beyond passionate about this thing now because I'm beginning to learn why I was called to this very place.
Hallelujah.
In Ayurveda, we're dealing with all of the things that come up. I'm going to see if I can put it together for you. One time, my late husband came back into the house. He didn't go to work that day. And he goes, man, that's going to be a bad storm. I'm like, what storm? It was just barely a cloud in the sky. I didn't see any storm going. He goes, well, you and squirrels are busier than anything today. I'm like, me and squirrels? Really? And he goes, yeah, you've been up doing something all day. And first thing, and it was only about, we had got the kids off on the buses to school, so it maybe 9 o'clock in the morning. And he was making this observation about me. I didn't think anything of it, but a few minutes later, around 11 or so, got a call from the school saying, could you come and pick up your kids? We've got some trees down. The winds have blown some trees down. There's a storm approaching and we've lost some power and we're asking the parents to come and get the kids. And I looked at him, I says, you go this way, because we had kids in different schools. And so we went and we gathered them together. And so when we got back to the house, he said, see, told you. But there was no rain. This happened like across town. And I'm like, okay, so the wind is picking up a little bit. What's that got to do with me and the squirrels? So, intuitively, we are all linked to nature to some degree, okay? But to make a long story short, by the time we got all the kids in, and it was a little bit beyond lunch, but they hadn't had lunch at school, so I served everybody and washed up all the dishes. He goes, you still at it? I'm like, okay, just about time. I put the last thing away. This big old cloud comes over, thunder starts rolling, lightning starts striking, the storm came. About 3 hours later, the lights went out. I had washed up all the clothes, they were all put together, all the bed linens had been changed, the things in the freezer had been sorted out. I didn't even realize I was doing all that morning, okay? I had no idea what I was doing it for, okay? But as it turned out, the storm was so severe, we were without power for 3 days.
Whoa!
But my house was in order, honey. Everything I needed was right where it needed to be. When Hurricane Ike hit Texas, I was living in Houston. And as God would have it, I'm just going to put it out there like that. My son asked one time, says, why are we putting the sand out of the sandbox in Walmart bags? I'm like, I've been saving Walmart bags for freaking ever. I'm just like totally the bag lady. And I says, we'll just call it Mother Wit, because I just think we need to do it. And so I put those like around the perimeters of the patio and then a little bit around the door where we come into the kitchen. 5:30 that next morning when I got up, there was water on either side, and there was only an inch of water on the patio because those Walmart bags had kept it out. And then right where the door was, I could actually open the door. I woke up, my son and said, look what Mother Wick got you. You don't have to bail water today, and it didn't come in my house. Okay? There are some things, and the dictionary describes intuition as that knowing or the ability to understand something immediately without the need for conscious reasoning.
Yeah.
So coming to California was kind of my path for that. There weren't schools of Ayurveda in Texas, okay? I don't know. We need to fix that. I intend to fix that. I'm going to come out here and get it, and I'm going to take it back over there.
Yeah, you go, girl.
So, but that's a long time coming. So, and when we're talking, when we're talking about spiritual healing, we're talking about intelligent energy. And so a lot of people come in and say, oh, you can lay hands, you can send energy, you can do this, you can do that. You can do. But sometimes intuition says you got to do some work. And I'm all about doing the work. Okay? So, when I went back to Texas from my visit here and discovered that Ayurveda was here, I was so excited. I went back to Texas in May from a Mother's Day visit, and right away in my head, or somewhere in here, I thought, I'm going back to California. I'm going to California in September. It can't be right. I'm going to September, in January. School starts in January. So my head got into it, and I started thinking about other things. And I started talking to just about as fast as I'm talking now to one of my friends, and she says, girl, you need to come back down to earth. I says, well, I've been up there in the mountains with all that high stuff. So she says, did you get the 420 cards? No, I just, she said, well, come on back down to earth. So I came back down to earth, but I got busy. I got busy packing because I knew in here that I was coming back here. So, in Ayurveda, one of the things that we learn is that the body has intelligence. Every cell has a function and knows just what it needs to perform its duties. Now, I want you to think about that cell because we are spirit, mind, and body. Now, two key factors in Ayurveda are called Agni, which is fire, and Ama, which are toxins or trash or stuck stuff or stuff that we need to get rid of, okay? So that's why I say maybe it's time to clean the kitchen. So let's look at fire. In my family, let's take it all the way back to tribal times. Fire. Fire brought the light, brought the warmth, brought the love, brought the community together in fellowship, okay? Where is fire in our earthly lives most of the time? A lot of times it's in the kitchen. The hearth of the home, where you get nurtured, where you get warmed up, okay? Fire boils the water and makes things happen, okay? The fire in your body is your digestive fire. And your digestive fire, Ayurveda says that all illness or dis-ease is in the gut, in the intestines, okay? And so when I'm looking up spiritual healing, I want to walk around just a little bit with this thing. Can I do that?
Mm-hmm. Just pull.
Just pull it? Okay. So when we're talking about the fire in your body, and the reason I want to move is because I want you to see where that fire is, okay? We're going to talk about chakras. Who knows about chakras?
Yeah,
The third chakra.
Yeah.
The third chakra is in your solar plexus. That's where you get your power. That's where you get your identity. This is where you know who you are. Okay? And I wasn't a squirrel, but I knew what I was supposed to do. Okay? But I'm directly connected to nature in that essence. Okay? So we're talking about the chakra, the third, the solar plexus, solar. We're bringing that energy, that warmth. This is where your fire is. This is where your digestive fire is, okay? So guess what? When your digestive fire isn't working in your natural physical body, what happens? You get a little bloated, you get a little uncomfortable. If it stays that way long enough, believe it or not, you get a little fuzzy in the head.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? You're not clear thinking. Okay? Your intuition is off. You can't really hear. Okay? My son told me one time, you hear, but you don't listen. So people say, I need this, I need this, I need this, I need this. And